There's another extension of this called the choice support bias, and that's the idea that we take ownership over the ideas that we have discovered. We will fight and we will defend them, things that we have come up with or we have discovered, and even if we know that your ideas are not as good as somebody else's ideas, all right? I'm going to give you an example of this from history. World War II, April 30th, 1943. A body is found floating face down in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Huelva, Spain. This body is in military khakis, held afloat by a life preserver, and has handcuffed to his wrist a locked briefcase. Inspection of the corpse's wallet reveals that this was a man named Major William Martin of the British Navy. But here's the thing. William Martin was an illusion, completely conjured up by a hush-hush secret organization, part of the M17M unit of the British Secret Wartime Service. And this was an elaborate ruse called Operation Mincemeat. That's actually what it was called. And they went to great lengths, Operation Mincemeat, to convince the people that found this body that it was a real person. They used a real corpse, of course. They even had a death notice printed in the Evening Times, and they had in his wallet also a picture of the man's girlfriend. So what they were hoping was that this fisherman, or whoever would find it, would get that briefcase to the Germans. Because even though Spain was neutral, they were sympathetic to the German war effort. And they were hoping that that information that was in the briefcase would make its way to the German high command. Here's why. The Germans had suspected for a long time that the Allies were going to invade from their perch in North Africa across the Mediterranean, but they didn't know whether they were going to go to Greece and Sardinia or to the Balkans or to Sicily. And what the Allies did is they planted disinformation in that briefcase, just enough information that the Germans would themselves conclude that the Allies were going to go to Greece and Sardinia, and that's where they fortified their defenses. And that's exactly what the Allies wanted, because they instead invaded Sicily, and that's because the Germans discovered this themselves. And in a sense, what the Allies were choice architects. And what a choice architect is, and this is a term that is coined by Cass Sunstein and Richard Thaler in their book Nudge, is someone who can design the ways to help people make the decisions that they themselves think are better. And by the way, what nudging is a leadership term where a leader knows what is best for people, but wants to put that decision in the hands of his or her followers so that they make that decision themselves. And probably the best example of that is in the cafeteria, in the canteen, putting the healthier food at eye level. It's still up to them to decide, but they will choose the healthier food.